So Skin Advisor is our really first digital product innovation that we've done on Olay and really all of beauty care. And again, it's a diagnostic tool to help consumers get to the right skincare product. We were finding that as Olay grew and grew throughout the early 2000s, product choice confusion became our #1 barrier to trial. Consumers were getting into the skincare aisle and basically opting out. The choice was just overwhelming. And where she was going was to .com, to the internet, where she could get more information on her own. And we were also losing a lot of people to specialty and department stores, where she could go to a beauty counselor and get help. So basically, we had reached the top of our S-curve. In fact, we were on the decline. And, a big reason for this was the mass channel growth has stalled, and we are losing 3 million consumers annually. So our world has changed. We were getting disrupted. We knew we had to do something. Mobile was eating the world. The path to purchase has changed in skincare. More than 50% of consumers actually start their skincare journey online, and even if they go to the store to buy a product, you'll see them researching products in the aisles even. And data is the new currency, and we needed to figure out how to leverage data to give her better experiences. And lastly, consumers don't want to just buy a cream in a jar anymore. They want to buy a relationship with the brand and a total experience. And they want this experience to be personalized. Everything's personalized now with Stitch Fix and meal order kits. Everything is personalized. And consumers want their skincare experience to be personalized as well. And these were some of the things we were hearing. She wants personalized experiences because she's unique, and she wants products that are for her. She wants us to show her that we really understand her, what her unique needs are, and tell her something new. She wants the experience to be about her, not just selling and pushing a product. And she wants knowledge. She wants to know more and more about the ingredients that she's putting on her skin and what they do. So we know how to diagnose consumers and give her a personal experience. And we do this at our beauty counselors in Asia. Olay is actually sold in department stores in Asia. And we have very sophisticated image analysis equipment to do this diagnosis, but that's kind of hard to do in a Walmart. So we thought, how can we create this experience with a device that every consumer around the world already has, which is her smartphone? Could we actually do meaningful diagnostics with the power of the phone? So because we're P&G and we always start with the consumer, we first started to develop the consumer model for success because we'd already seen a lot of diagnostic apps come and go, and no one had really cracked it yet. None of them had really broken through in the marketplace. So we created this model. It's very simple. First, we really need to know her. We need to collect the right information to give her good advice. And we need to prove to her that we actually listened and we got to know her. It needs to be credible. Some of these apps that were out there, if you would do the diagnostics and you would do it 5 minutes later, you'd get a completely different result. So it needs to be accurate and reproducible. It also needs to tell her something non-obvious that she couldn't already know for herself. And it needs to be engaging. We want it to be an addictive experience, and we like to use the analogy, it's like Candy Crush meets Google Maps, but for skincare. So, again, it's a simple model, but no one had cracked it. So how did we do it? What did P&G have to bring to the table that our competitors did not? So there's 3 unique areas of competitive advantage that we thought we could use to win. And the first is really image analysis. We've been pioneering in this space for over 25 years. We really developed the imaging systems that most dermatologists use in their offices today. And we really wanted this to be our key point of difference in terms of the diagnostic. We also have a pretty deep stable of data scientists and engineers that we felt like we could leverage to create proprietary algorithms. And lastly, our understanding of skin biology and formulation chemistry allows us to create truly superior products that if we get the right products to the right consumers, we know she'll have a superior experience. But we knew we couldn't do this alone. We have a lot of expertise internal, but we really needed to find best-in-class industry partners to create a sustainable competitive advantage. So we partnered with Neurologics, Canfield, 23andMe, and Park, and you know, this has really been a valuable ecosystem of partners for creating upgrades and innovations for the future. So the result was we launched Skin Advisor in August of 2016. We called it a minimum viable prototype because we thought it was pretty crude. We were pretty hard on ourselves. But we wanted to get out into the market and start learning, and we've been upgrading and iterating ever since. It's basically a web app. It's skinadvisor.olay.com if you all want to try it. But basically you snap a selfie. We have a deep learning algorithm to analyze the image. It then takes you through a series of questions to get the right information for us to recommend the right product regimen for you. And then it gives you your predicted skin age. So you kind of know how you're doing relative to your peers. And it gives you a heat map to show you the areas of your face where you might need some extra attention. And then it gives you your recommendation. So the model that we created internally, we call it the VisAge deep learning algorithm, was trained on 50,000 selfies. And the model learned what features in those selfies were important for predicting age. And once we validated the age prediction, we asked the model to then go back and figure out what areas of the face were contributing the most to that skin age so that we could give her these heat maps and more information about her image. So the model is now more than 1 million selfies strong and growing every day. And you know, as we continue to grow the database, the model gets smarter literally with every selfie we gather. So how did we do on our prototype? We were kind of shocked at how well consumers were liking it. So we did a survey among women who had been through the Skin Advisor experience, and after 4 weeks of using the product, 90% of consumers were saying, yeah, this is a personalized experience. I believe these are the right products for me, and they were continuing to use the product. But our recommendation engine when we launched was pretty crude. It was a very simple rules-based algorithm that really wasn't offering very many personalized solutions. So this is where Neurologics came in, and we started partnering with Jana and her team. And I'm gonna hand it over to her to tell you about that journey.
Thank you. Thank you, Christy. It's been an incredible journey working with the amazing people at P&G, learning from them and all the depths that they know about their science. And one of the first things that we learned is how many options with just 7 questions and multiple answers, of course, to those questions. There's actually 218 million different possibilities. So there's lots of opportunities to really find that individual answer. That's how you're driving that 94%. There's 2 million allowed regimens, meaning a regimen can't consist of 5 eye creams, even if sometimes we want those. But the whole point is give something that's guided by the experts, but it's actually specified by the customer. So how do you match those two together? How do you find for each of those 218 million the 1 in 2 million that there is? Well, we do it, like I said, for 94% of people every week. So what you don't want to do is what's often done, which is segmentation. And you all know this because you're nerds. It's been fun being here and listening to your talks because there's so much nerd talk, which is great. And that's where I feel more comfortable. But you all know this. When you put segments in, you have people that aren't part of that segment, right? And that's when somebody feels like, this wasn't about me. This is about your objectives. So when you're really trying to drive that personalized piece, You have to be sure that you stay away from what we normally go to, especially with products, your decision trees, your decision forest, your decision jungles, right? We're making each of these more complex, but there's always these people that fall out. So how do we really go individual? And the other thing that happens a lot, especially on the internet, is collaborative filtering. And what happens with collaborative filtering, and you all have seen it, this is one of my favorite examples because March of the Penguins is being marketed as an acclaimed violent movie. Not the first thing you normally think of with March of the Penguins is violence, right? Why does that happen? We call it tyranny of popularity. It's true. People that watch violent movies watch March of the Penguins. So do people that watch romantic comedies and documentaries, right? That's what happens a lot with collaborative filtering, and you need to be cautious about that as you're trying to build that personalized product. It's nice to know what other people like this did, but you run into lots of problems like that. Another challenge that you often have is overfitting, and you guys know this, you hear all about this. This is one of my more favorite examples. I bought a toilet seat because I needed one. It's necessity, not desire. I don't collect them. I'm not looking for another toilet seat. No matter how attractive of one you put in front of me, I'm not going to buy another toilet seat, right? And then someone followed up, and I think it may be a little hard to hear, and said, yeah, the same thing happened to me when I bought my mother's burial urn. So what's happening there? We're using the same model for buying books, for buying movies, as we are for buying toilet seats and urns. That doesn't fit, right? And we need to think about those things. So how do we understand that there's different times, same person may need a different type of model? Another thing that happens often is sacrificing content. This is one of my favorite examples with the baseball bat being recommended with a mask. Right? It may be okay in Wisconsin in the winter for somebody that's bought a lot of baseball equipment from you, so I wouldn't say outlaw that, but you gotta know the context. And for most people, that context just scares them. Last night, when I was finalizing the slides for this, I got a pop-up ad from Yelp for Maplewood Bar, or Maplewood Restaurant and Bar. That's in Cincinnati. I was in Boston, right? It knows where I am. It has my location, yet it's wasting time and frustrating me. And then again, I fly a lot. So Waze was helpfully telling me that I could get to my flight in 3 minutes. My flight that was 15 minutes from now. Not very helpful. These are all smart applications by top technology companies, but they're still missing the mark on this context, and context is actually really important, especially for personalization. So how do we do that? We do better answers through context. We relate all the data, but we also build in the hooks for the context that's important. So that's one of the big pieces that we do is your context. We take less data prep by building what we call connectomes, which is a neuroscience term. We are out of MIT's Brain and Cog Lab, neuroscience. And how we connect data is actually based on math that your neurons use for deciding to connect. We have complete transparency, which I'm going to show you in a few minutes. That's another reason why people trusted, because they saw the whys. This product is great for you because, and it would actually list out the reasons why. And then the global scalability was really important. So on the synaptic intelligence that we do, our secret sauce is that we can take more data in. We don't have to leave data out. If it's a small signal, it may be a small signal that's really important in context. We don't want to lose that. What happens is you have to balance. You have to balance when is that small signal really important. And that's what we learn from neuroscience and the math that we do behind that. What that's allowed is us to bring in more data, more information, and we're continuing to add more as we continue to strengthen the product, but knowing everything we can. This is the part that I was saying, not only does it take all that data into part, but it also then tells you why. So every single product, not the regimen, every single product actually says which reason why, which reason that you're looking at as a consumer, this is good for you. It's critical for people liking the products that they get. So how's it worked out for the business? Millions of people have come in, so we've got the global reach. We went, in 9 months, we went global with P&G just launching country after country. We've got a 3x lower bounce rate, 5 pages per session, greater than 5 minutes per session, and an increase of 2x in conversion rate, 2x in conversion rate. It's made a huge impact. So, you know, from the AI perspective, what I'd like to say is Skin Advisor was built AI first. We talk about mobile first. We're moving to AI first. They really thought, and Christy gave a great demonstration of how they thought about the diagnostics, which is really key to P&G. And then they also turned around and thought about, well, then how do we make that personalized signal that we're getting, how do we match that to our regimens? And we need AI for that too. They assess, build, buy, and partner. And they really led, as Christy talked about, this is the first digital product for beauty. They really went first. They were brave launching the MVP, but they did a great job with it. And so they're a fantastic partner for us, and we were really honored to come up and speak with them. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As with all of our sessions, we are going to be tight on time, so I'll certainly take one, maybe two questions.
Hi, Christine Clark with Lightspeed Research. Did you see the engagement level, the demographics and the engaged consumers change?
I know, can I answer?
Yes, please.
Sorry, it's all their data, so I'm always sensitive about that. But yes, actually, it's been really phenomenal for a younger demographic, which was a target for Olay. So it's been very successful on that scale.
Great, thank you.
Thank you all for attending.